All right, let me lead with the spirit first. This might not even have anything to do with Aries, Venus, Cazimi, numerology, and astrology, all right? But I'm going to still throw this in there, because it's on my heart to say. Now, listen, whenever Saturn's going direct, we're learning new karmic lessons, all right? When there's retrogrades, we're having introspect of the inner world, the inner workings, and how we meet that karma. So when you got enemies, hidden enemies, or people that seem to be enemies, people who you seem to have difficult times with, drama, matters of that nature, or circumstances, okay? It could be matters of the household, the community, your kids, all right? That's really triggering you and causing you to feel like you don't have control of the situation. That causes you to feel like you don't know what to expect or you don't know what to do, all right? Start here. Start with first realizing it's not the other person, okay? The other person is reflecting back to you a lesson that you have to internalize before moving forward. And you learn the lesson once you have peace with the situation, once you have peace with the person, once you look upon them wishing well, once you look upon them with peace of mind, once you see them with a will and intention for them to have good fortune, good outcome, and not in a wrathful sense. That's how we know we move through that lesson. So, for example, you may have a hidden enemy at work, somebody that's jealous of you, envious, throwing darts all the time, being passive aggressive, things like that, or even in your relationship or whatever. Don't fall for the trick of thinking that it's that person. It's an energy, it's a spirit, okay, that moves through that person to present to you an exercise, all right? So if you pick up the lesson, you pick up the forward motion. If they don't pick up the lesson, they can't pick up the forward motion. You can't change the consciousness of the other person. You can't change the behavior of the other person. Guess who you can change? You guessed it. It's yourself. You understand? It's yourself that you can change. And that's all you got to worry about. There's things also in your life where you're trying to figure out, where am I supposed to be next? What should I be doing with myself? Where do I go? I'm confused. Don't worry about that. What's the karma in front of you, right? What's calling for your attention to understand, to release, to make peace with, to harmonize, to clarify, to bring purification to? What's that assignment? All you gotta do is focus on what that assignment is in front of you. Make peace with it. Master it. And guess what? It's going to come to you where you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to be doing. The assignment comes to find you. You don't have to look for it. How the fuck you going to look for something that's destined for you? You can't look for that. It looks for you. It finds you. It already know where you at. It's pending. Okay? It's pending is what it is. Our blessings, our forward motion is pending. And it's depending upon whether or not we choose to select understanding of what the lesson is in front of us about ourselves. If anything, we would go out and buy gifts for our enemies. Thank you for teaching me how to make peace with that spirit within me that's reflected in you outward. Understand, right? Let me give an example. You got somebody hating on you, right? Just pay attention. What's really causing that person to hate on you? It's obviously not that they're doing better than you. It's because they perceive themselves as not doing better than you. It's an insecurity. It's a fear. And they want to create an atmosphere or environment. They want to create a claim that registers as them being superior over you or better than you or more ahead of you, more intelligent or whatever else, more clever, witty, qualified, authorized. So they interject in what's natural. And what's natural is you being you. And they have a problem with you being you because it highlights what they feel inadequate about themselves, which might not even be true. They're unable to home in on a value of themselves by which they see themselves as equal or better than you. That's a spirit of lack, a spirit of competition, envy, and jealousy. So what do? We turn to them with compassion and understanding. Obviously, this person sees that I have something that they want, or they think that I have something that they would prefer to have, or that they feel more entitled to. This person might be afraid that I'm too far ahead of them. I'm doing something or demonstrating something that they feel inside themselves they don't have the confidence to do, or the skill to do, the strength to do, or whatever else, right? So it's not for us to increase in arrogance about it or aggression about it, but be assertive and confirming, first of all, what's valuable about that person, vocalizing it. What's good about that person, vocalizing it, making it known, not being too arrogant to raise it up. Raise up the good attributes of that person. Give them something else in themselves to focus on. Don't go out of your way to do it, but when you see it, acknowledge it and raise it up. Because the more they have the focus about the value of the self, you're helping them out and you're helping yourself, because you're also, in the same turn, practicing compassion and understanding. You're helping a spirit of lack that's in them that you understand was once in you or may still be in you. And by healing them, guess what? You're healing yourself, because only the wounded can heal, right? Okay, and that person wouldn't be in front of you exposing your wound if you wasn't wounded. And the way to treat a wound is to heal. Understand? So rising up to compassion, understanding. So I just want to leave that out there. You know what I mean? Let's get on that. Let's get assertive about who we are. You know what I mean? Let's get zealous and assertive about who we are. Let's go all the way up, man. Come on. Let's go all the way up. Get out your seat. You know what I mean? Aries, Venus, Cazimi, numerology, and astrology. We putting it all together to get the understanding. 9 vibration, 22, 7, 5. If you have these life path numbers, if you have these soul urge numbers, yeah, you want to pay attention. And overall, remember, notice, okay, all is all. That's what Pisces says anyways. Everybody's a 22 somewhere. Everybody's a 7 somewhere. Everybody's a 9 or 5 somewhere. We are not just one sign. We are not just one numerological expression, numerological vibration. These are misunderstandings of these things, which is why it's important that the proper teacher teaches these things. That's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Okay? We got wisdom over here. That's what we leading with. Wisdom is a principal thing. And with all that get understanding. If you're not asking questions, you're not seeking understanding. Know that. You're doing yourself a disservice. Don't be too proud not to ask questions. I'll be glad to answer questions. Now, if it's something that, is so detailed and complex, yeah, you need to get a reading. Understand, okay? But I'm not selfish, okay? We're here for the understanding. Every sign carries vibrations of numerology. So we are the culmination of all signs and all numerological expressions in one. We have all of it in our being. Even astrological aspects, transits in the natal chart. It expresses these numerological vibrations as well. And these are a few that I'm highlighting that we collectively are going to have concentration in. Understand? All right, let's get it. Let's go. Let's look at the Venus Cazimi, which took place the 22nd of March. We know that the 22nd, being the master number, this certainly does reflect our 18-month position with the South Node, Virgo, hosting a 22 master vibration that we all are subject to, releasing in detrimental ways. And in second context of the South Node, Virgo, the number 9 Hermit card expression, the 9 works against the detriment of Venus. So with the Venus Cazimi, in which Venus conjuncts the Sun, and transitions from a night star into a morning star. This is a rebirth of Venus, a rebirth of Venus themes, Venus commitments, Venus expressions, Venus perceptions and attractions. And what this explains is that we're going from Venus expressing herself as a feminist and liberal to now expressing herself as a force that is in respect to the number 9 vibration. In other words, the Venus from here on out says, I will not distract you. I will not mislead you. I will not betray you. I will not bring perversion into your life. I will not exploit you. I will not lead you into temptation and addictions. I'm here to serve you in compliance with the number 9 vibration, which is I walk behind the true light. I follow the true light, the sun, your heart. You give me extra instructions. And as the power of Venus, I will serve to add sweetener to your most difficult process and experiences that you are destined for. I will harmonize what seems to be difficult for you. I will bring fresh rivers, fresh water, palatable waters into every situation that you have to bring a productive mindset to. I will attract friends and support to you to help you to manifest and fulfill whatever it is that you answer to as your calling. I will play the role as the astral body that magnetizes good fortune, blessings, benefit, efficiency, multiplicity, and all of the benevolent attributes of divine feminine. I will use my beauty and artful magic, even my witchcraft, to make sure that whatever it is that you embark upon as a project, as a commitment, as a struggle, as a challenge, it will not be difficult, as I will be with you and supporting you. As Mary Poppins said, a spoonful of sugar helping the medicine to go down. This is the case with Venus now. And you guessed it, this does speak to females. I might as well name this channel a rebirth of the woman. Because 99% of the time it's going to have to do with women. That's the expression of the universe right now. Because through women, we are born. Understand? We are born through the womb. So, what does this look like for women in society? What it looks like is Venus is now subject to the limitations, the containment of the number 9 expression. And when number 9 is influencing your life path, when it's influencing your creations, your outlooks on life, and whatever it is that you engage upon, that number 9 insists that you do so in a mature way. The number 9 insists that you have accountability in all things. The number 9 energy suggests that you will see all of your affairs in the mindset of spirit, in the outlook of spirit. This number 9 energy is no joke. And I'm speaking from experience. My life path is number 9. Understand? And any of you out there who have the life path number 9, you can testify. This is where fate, the hand of God, the decree of God that overwhelms and stands before all other powers and forces without resistance, omnipotent, irresistible. It is going to be. When your life path is number 9, and stay with me, okay? I'm describing the life path 9 because all of us are subject to the life path 9 through the South Node. Please focus. What this means is that our collective fated experiences are going to insist that we grow up. It's going to insist that we become mature inside of ourselves. Because the reality is going to be as it is. And if I resist maturity, if I resist wisdom, if I reject wisdom, if I reject accountability, I'm going to have a hard time. I'm going to have a hard time understanding what I'm experiencing. I'm going to have a very hard time accepting what has been fated to me. I'm going to be destroyed by my experiences if I do not focus and seek to find the spiritual value behind what has manifest, behind what has befallen me, behind what is inevitable to befall me. It's going to crush me. When the person resists and struggles against that number 9, this is what it looks like. What it looks like is you start out with an addiction to that Venus. Careless and reckless with Venus. Venus is leading you. Venus is influencing you. Venus is telling you what to do. You feel compelled, helpless, and powerless against the attractive forces of Venus, which could look like attention, validation, superficial status, self-conceit, looking in the mirror, self-absorption, self-importance, lust, an attachment to things that sparkle and shine, materials, women, handsome men, whatever your case may be, the clout, the limelight, the things of life that gives you pleasure, enjoyment, thrill. And all of it comes with the potential to fall into addiction, spoiling the strength, spoiling the spirit, dissolving the discipline in the body. A perpetual downfall from spiritual heights until you find yourself wretched, rock bottom. God help me, what has become of me? So all of your life experiences are designed to save you from that. So you start to notice a pattern in your life with that number 9 energy. And the pattern in your life is, I'm attracted to that shiny thing. But that shiny thing could spoil me. So I have to get down to the essence of what it is that I am really attracted to. You see? Not the form. You have to start looking at the essence, not the form. This is the reason for having Pisces at the North Node. You have to tap into the ability to see the essence of what it is that your impulses are calling for, not the form that it could be dressed in. Let me give you an example. We call burdens upon our life through our lust of that Venus. Oh man, look at that Dodge Ram 2500, 2025, diesel, full package, cab, right? Nice trailer, fishing boat. Oh yeah, I need one of those. See, we start out tricking ourselves with false language. I need one of those. Start looking at the cost, right? $70,000, $90,000 in market today. Some going up to $112,000. But you compare that to your income, okay? What God has blessed you with, what your measure is. You know your means of living. You know what is within your means, but your desire for shiny things, it tempts you to live out of your means, okay? Because you're still attracted to that shiny thing. You want that shiny thing. So you go and burden yourself by taking out a bank loan to get that $80,000, $90,000 truck. And it feels good to ride in it. It looks nice. It feels like an accomplishment even. It picks up your self-esteem in a false sense. But the truth of the matter, right? If you look through Pisces, the number 7 vibration, if you look through that number 7 vibration at the North Node Pisces, you will be able to dissolve the form of that shiny thing, of that nice, big, fancy truck. And you get down to the truth of the matter, which is you just inherited for yourself. You selected for yourself a burden. You selected for yourself debt. And even though you have that thing that's shiny, you realize that now you just put yourself in prostration to Venus. You just worship Venus. You just fell on your knees to Venus. And God said, give not thy strength to a woman. That's exactly what you did. You gave your strength to a woman. You gave your strength to the divine feminine Venus within the self. Now you have selected a burden upon yourself because you're worshiping that Venus inside of yourself instead of being the commander through the sun. Okay? Now, it will make more sense. It will be wisdom. What does wisdom look like? Wisdom stands in the middle. It's between head and heart. It's between what you want and what you need. It's in the middle. You can have a nice truck, but it needs to be within your means. If you're pulling out a loan, if you're going to the bank and you know that banks are predators, you know that usury is predatory territory. You know that incurring debt is a miserable life of slavery. You're signing up for chattel slavery. You're doing these things unnecessary to yourself. And what you're justifying it by is that Venus impulse. I want to have. I want to have. What is the expression of Venus algorithm Taurus? I have. And when you long for what Venus is waving and flagging in front of you, I want to have. Understand? Okay? And so the number 9 stands between you and your desire. It stands between you and what you want to have. And it stands between in order to get you at the view of maturity. And you get at the view of maturity by dissolving the shiny forms of things, the decorated forms of things, so that you can get at the essence of what it is that you have taken into your hand, that you have swallowed into your gut. that you have put into your presence, that you have subjected yourself to, that you have signed up for. It gets you at the true essence of what that is and what it means in your life. And what I'm describing to you is a person who, through shiny things, incurred debt and burden upon himself. So now, what is he robbing himself of? He's robbing himself of his peace. He can't take a day off. He has to pay that truck note. He has to pay that insurance. He has to pay for the amount of gas that it's going to take to fill that bitch up. $80, $90 at the pump. And the work week just started. And then let's not even talk about maintenance, full coverage insurance, all of that. By the time you get done with all this, this is a person who's paying $1,500 a month, $1,800 a month to have a shiny truck. So now you have to work overtime. You have to have 2 jobs. Now through stress and strain, you are maintaining your lifestyle. Now you're sleepless because you have to figure out how to rob Paul to pay Peter, rob Peter to pay Paul. Your credit cards are in temptation now. You're borrowing. You're not your natural self. You're not in state of peace anymore because now your security is threatened, because your stability is threatened. And where did that come from? It came from you giving your strength to the woman, Venus. You gave your strength to Venus. And God told you not to do that. It came from you being unwise. It came from you betraying your wisdom. It came from you putting your gut before your head. And now you have to pay the karmic toll to come to understanding. And a karmic toll to come to understanding, what it looks like is you have to suffer the lesson so that you inherit the wisdom that teaches you how to undo that predicament and to prevent yourself from being subjected to such predicament and crisis again. You have to learn. And karma is the teacher. Karma is what teaches you how to be just to the self, how to have obedience in your life, how to use wisdom. You can have a nice vehicle within your price range, within your cost of living. But when we are living superficial, we trick ourselves into thinking that these things are needs and not desires. There's a difference between needs and desires, needs and wants. We don't want to acknowledge that because we feel what? Entitled. Entitled. We are entitled competitors. And this is why we can't get to the unity. You got to pull up in something that competes with what the next person is pulling up in. You got to dress in something that's competing with what the next person is dressing in. The woman that you're with, the man that you're with, has to compete with the woman or the man that your neighbor is with. And this is why we can't have unity. Secret competition, secret enemies is what we make of each other. The number 9 vibration comes into your life to repel these things. So it looks like losing things. You're going to lose things that are too shiny for you. You're going to lose things that are burdening you. You're going to lose things that's pulling unnecessary debt, that's costing you unnecessary strain, that's putting you through unnecessary misery. And don't be so fast to say, oh, yeah, this is great. This is wonderful. Yeah, I agree to that. Yeah, of course. That's what I'm doing anyway. No, not so fast. Not so fast. Because what that really looks like is it's disappointment. It's heartbreak and disappointment. Because before that we have the level of maturity to understand that, we're going to feel like God is doing something to us instead of doing something for us. We're going to feel like the universe hates me. God hates me. Why can't I have nothing? Why can't nothing go my way? Oh, everybody gets something shiny except for me. But here's the thing. You trade the false light of the earth for the true light of heaven. You trade the finite gifts of the earth for infinite gifts of heaven. You trade false authority and false status of the earth for true status that is consistent and everlasting through the powers of heaven. And most of this comes through wisdom and character. Wisdom and character is two universal powers and forces that guarantees good fortune and legacy in the earth. It guarantees it. Where you will be able to sleep at night. You will have peace. You won't have to worry about enemies. Your children will honor and respect you. Your relationships will be healthy and fortified. You'll have magnetism when it comes to other people, no matter who you engage with. You will leave them with an impression that inspires them year after year. Your power and your creativity will be something unfathomable, original, something that cannot be duplicated or imitated. Because you'll re-establish in the deep root of the self through the opportunity of the nine, which saved and recovered the self, salvaged the self, bought the self with a price from the world. Understand? We don't like how it feels when the favor is being done to us. There are things in my life, things in your life, through that number 9 energy, that's going to be taken away, that's going to be lost, that's going to fall and fail, and it's going to include relationship circumstances, people, environments that we once subjected ourselves to torment and difficulty to unnecessarily. Any situation where we have a relationship with something or someone that brings harm upon the soul, harm upon the psyche, that blocks the creation of legacy, the establishment of legacy, that blocks the highest frequency from having permanence in the self, that blocks us from our destiny and from fulfilling the roles that God sent us to fulfill. These things are going to fall away. We are going to lose access to anything that would contaminate us. We're going to lose access to anything that's going to compromise the integrity of the spirit. We're rising to the ranks of priesthood as a collective. And this is what's necessary. The destiny of the life path number 9, these are priests, these are prophets, these are prophetess, these are priestess by destiny. Understand that. Number 9s are ruled by Aquarius, the humanitarians. Their access is through Virgo, number 9 process. Where they pull from is from Pisces, God himself. And this is what all of us are about to become. So the renewal of Venus is a different version of Venus that we're getting ready to see. A Venus that serves heaven, the kingdom of heaven, and not the kingdom of Satan. So who now becomes critical because of this prophesied change that's up ahead? Okay? The life path 5s. Heart, soul, urge 5 and life path 5. Okay? These are the people who are going to coach those who are coming out of the burning world. The world of feminism, the world of liberalism, the world of materialism, attachment to the culture, the toxic culture, the turn-up culture. All of these different type of things, okay? The glitter of the world, the attractive girls, the attractive guys, the people who have shiny things. Their world is burning, and it's going to continue to burn. And when Chiron gets into Taurus, it's going to be pure dust. It's going to be pure dust. So it's the number 5, the Hierophant, who has to teach them, counsel them on what are we to do next. And that number 5 is what leads them into the ring, the inner ring of Saturn, to redeem themselves. And the inner ring of Saturn, it reeks of the number 9 vibration. It is containment in spirit, containment in discipline, order, structure, containment in authority of spirit, containment in obedience, containment in rectitude as a life practice, containment in accountability. That is what the number 5 does. And the number 5 does so through knowledge, not through wisdom, through knowledge. Let's know the difference, okay? I'm going to be specific. This is not commercial over here. This is wisdom. The Hierophant brings them out of the world into Saturn containment to concentrate on religious and spiritual knowledge, not wisdom. It's a different story, okay? When we talk about wisdom, this starts with the number 7s on up, okay? 6 is a demonstration of service, selfless service. They're the masters of selfless service through Cancer and Pisces, understand, okay? But the number 5, the Hierophants, these are people who are very attractive. They have influence over culture. Everything that they do, people want to copy them. They set the trends. They're usually bow-legged and quite futuristic looking. They fit in with the in crowd, stylish. Love being around different cultures, relating to different people. And they had a crisis with the world. They had a crisis with their Venus. They had a crisis with their desires, the glitter of the world. And they were called to leave it, to turn their back on it. Because at some point, it started to betray them. It started to turn its back on them. And that's where they had their genesis out of the world. And it burned behind them as they crossed the bridge into religion. Now, slow down. What do I mean by religion? What I mean by religion is they started to get into spiritual knowledge that gave them the awareness of the necessity of having discipline in one's life, accountability in one's life, obedience, rectitude, self-governance. And through spiritual knowledge, they were able to understand that if I paired this spiritual knowledge with a life of discipline, I can redeem myself. I can save myself. I can recover all that was lost. I can start a new life. I can turn a new page. There is not only hope, but there is infinite possibility in this new view. A spiritual life, a spiritual commitment. And they still have the same charisma. They still have the same charm. Number 5s are very charismatic. You will know them because you are drawn to them anytime you go out in the crowd. They always stand out. Very attractive people. And they come with popularity. So in turn, what they do is they use that Venus energy of popularity, the Venus energy of charisma, attraction. They use it to fish for people, to lure people out of a burning world. And they are the first teachers of those who are coming out of the world, the first teachers. And they lead them across the bridge from a burning world of worldliness, Satan's empire and kingdom, and to a stage, an initial stage of discipline with Saturn. They bring them straight to Saturn. That is the Hierophant's job. That is the number 5 responsibility, is to bring lost people into the ring of Saturn to redeem themselves. Understand? Okay? So this is where 5s are going to come in at. And if you notice, all of this correlates with Venus. It all correlates with Venus. 5s are through Taurus or Libra. 5 energies are through Taurus and Libra. Some of them are through Leo as well, but mostly Taurus, number 5s. They either have a strong Taurus stellium, Taurus at the 10th house stellium possibly, okay, at strong aspects to Taurus, and they have considerable attraction and charisma. These are key players at this hour. For the next 18 months, number fives will be the ones who bring people who get revelation out of the burning world. So what you're going to see is a revolution. Many people who have been using their Venus energy to hurt themselves or harm themselves, to bring misfortune upon themselves, to inherit burden, unnecessary burden, they're going to have a turnaround. Venus being reborn through this Cazimi, it means she's going to take all of her daughters and sons who carry her force in prominent ways, and she's going to make sure that they understand that you are to be responsible with this energy. You are not going to just be wilding out with Venus energy anymore. Because I have strict instructions to stand behind number 9. That number 9 has greater authority over me. Okay? So the children of Venus are going to experience this revelation within themselves. Something in society, something in the collective, something in the air or in the water, as the old people say, is going to deliver the message to the collective that, okay, I can't be wilding like this no more. I can't be turning up like this. I can't be using my beauty, my charisma, my body, my money, relationships to exploit and spoil my spirit. I have to get a focus, and I have to get on board with what is changing out here. And it's changing upwards, not downwards. There's a higher frequency that's calling me to adjust and correct. A new consciousness, a new frequency. And what is that direction? Number 7, North Node Pisces. I have to dissolve the representation of things that are tricking me, fooling me. I have to see past what things are presenting itself to be, and I have to see what the truth is. I have to look at reality. No longer being beguiled or tricked or fooled by sparkly things, pretty faces, handsome guys with big arms, nice cars and jewelry, music, alcohol consumption and things of this nature. I cannot keep being blinded by these things. So that number 9 frequency is going to dominate the hearts at the South Node. That's what we're purging. So we all are going to be a collective conscious awareness in which our relationships are going to make us aware. Our interactions with our resources are going to make us aware. And the feedback that we're getting in our 6th house and 10th house environment, that's going to make us aware that I have to change how I'm relating to this Venus theme in my life. I've got to change it because this isn't good. And that's going to look like unnecessary burden that is realized through Venus things. So from the 2nd house and 7th house, there could be burdens that we incur upon ourselves because she looks really good, he looks really good. That job or career is going to give me a status that's going to make me look really special. It's going to put me on big dog status. But the number 7 is going to dissolve the illusion. And Pisces is going to have you to see the truth, which is, okay, you run for that career, but you know that that means ruining your children's psychology for the rest of their life. Who's going to raise them? Who's going to be present for them? Who's going to love on them while you're being so damn ambitious? You're looking at your marriage with nothing is wrong with your marriage. You have a perfectly fine husband, a perfectly fine wife. But that Venus is going to knock on the door and say, oh, don't you want to turn up? Yeah, this ain't fun. This is boring. Y'all just do the same thing all the time. This is lame. It's boring. But that number 7 is going to dissolve it at the North Node Pisces, and it's going to say, hold up. Don't you have peace? Do you have enemies with this person? No, you don't. You have peace with this person. This is what peace looks like. This is what peace sounds like. You have stability. You have security. This person does no harm to you. You know, do no harm to this person. This person cares about you and you care about them. Why would you ruin it because the streets is calling? Why would you ruin it for attention and validation? Why would you blow this so that you go and spoil your spirit with your Venus commodities? Why would you do that? Why would you curse yourself like that? And what's it going to do to the children? Haven't we learned our lessons? You need a vehicle to get from point A to point B. It don't mean that you need a vehicle that's going to break the bank from point A to point B. You need a home for you, your wife, your children, your husband, whatever your situation is. You need a room for each person who is an adult, or each person who is, of the age in their, teenagers, whatever, might need their own room. Okay. But you don't need 5 bedrooms with 1 kid. You don't have to have a house on a fucking hill, $250,000, straining yourself, straining your husband, or putting yourself in a position where you're going to have to neglect your kids to keep up with that. Why are you doing these things to yourself? Why are you burdening yourself? Why are you hurting yourself? Why are you doing harm to yourself? To thyself do no harm. Through our Venus, we have been harming ourselves. Marriages have been the same way. Now that we're talking about Venus, you know what I mean? Let's talk about it. A man marries a woman, and we know that men are closer in access to peace. Men can get to peace much quicker than a woman can. Much quicker. Why? Because we're simple. We are creatures of habit. We wash, rinse, repeat. We wear the same. We got our favorite shirt. I'm wearing mine right now. It's called Ridge Cut. You know what I mean? Look that up. It's a good quality, canvas shirt. It's real rugged. It's tough. You know what I mean? Beautiful texture. Hardcore. I like it. You know what I mean? Ridge Cut. You know what I'm saying? Some Wild West shit. But anyway, it's my favorite shirt. I just love how rugged it is. I like the texture. It's not all flashy and shiny. Some cowboy style. You heard? And, men will take this one shirt and we get attached to it. You know what I mean? We don't need 1,000 shirts. We want something good, quality, sturdy, and we rock with that and we content. That's it. I'm good. You know what I mean? Good pair of work boots. I got some Red Wing leather work boots, steel toe. Cost me $253. You know what I'm saying? They're good and sturdy. Broke them in. I'm good. You know what I mean? And every day we got the same routine, especially these days. Men are not dating like they used to. They're not in relationships like they used to. Men are single more than ever, okay? 54% of men are childless. That has never happened before, okay? And then 30-something% of women are childless. You know what I'm saying? But more men are childless than women are. That's never happened before. It's like, wow. Men today, they go to work, they go to the gym, and they go to fuck home. Men don't even go out no more like that. You know what I'm saying? Women go to clubs and stuff, and it's only them there. They go to these little dating retreats, it's only them there. Men are simple. We don't have to be going all over the town, shopping centers and malls and all this other stuff. One thing men don't like doing is spending money. We live minimal in our nature. When we in our right mind, we're minimal because we're already content. We find contentment in ourselves, not in material, not in swiping cards, not in spending and driving and flying all over the fucking place. We don't need to fly all over them. I like to travel. These dingy ass bitches today. I like to travel. That's all they fucking say. They always want to be at a restaurant with a camera on their fucking face, twisting and gyrating in the seat, sipping on some shit with somebody else picking up the fucking tab. They're expensive. They're burdens. They're liabilities. They are debt. But men are very simple. So that is close to that number 9 energy. And from that simple place, we're able to access wisdom. We're able to access strategy. We're able to have the clarity to know what's coming from my intuition, what's coming from my instincts. We're able to make sound decisions. We're able to build happiness upon it, contentment upon it, because we are closer to peace. So females are going to have to learn these same algorithms of spirit for themselves so that they can reach contentment, because women cannot continue in the shape that they're in. Not American women. Women can't go no farther in the shape and condition that they're in. Women are all the way on the bottom in their spirit in this day. They're all fucked up. They have to get to a point where they get down to the bottom of, why are you spending so much money? Why are you out here wilding? Why are you fucking so many niggas? Why are you sucking so much dick? Why you got so many babies with all these different baby fathers? Why you don't respect yourself? Why you so damn loud? Why do you not have any respect for authority? Why you all over the place? You're not even recognizable. And a lot of this has to do with, they don't know how to find peace. They don't know how to find contentment. So they're trying to buy it, purchase it. They need a thrill all the time. Thrill me, thrill me, thrill me. So they get with bad boys until they turn 40 something and hit the fucking wall. And now their titties are sagging. All of a sudden they want a good man. Now that your titties is dragging on the fucking floor. You want a man now. You want a good man now. Look at Vivica Fox. BBL. Look at a plum fucking mess. These bitches wait until they get old and ancient like fucking dinosaur bones before they find righteousness, before they find peace, before they find wisdom, before they use their wisdom, before that they make their mind up about being with a good-natured man. But while they're attractive, they're chasing the devil. They on the back of the motorcycle with the fucking devil. Dodging bullets, all up in clubs, doing all kind of weird shit, turning up, making noise and chaos. They all used up, banged up, beat up by the time they get to a point where they want a man. Don't nobody want that used up, beat up shit. Like buying a fucking lemon off Craigslist. You know what I mean? You could give a car a nice paint job. But what that got to do with the fact that the engine is blown, the head gasket, the starter is fucked up. The transmission don't even work. You know what I mean? A blown engine. That's American women. They are lemon cars with nice bodies. And in the black community, that's starting to be an old story too. They don't have nice bodies like they used to. White girls passing them up. And that's a fact. That's a fact. White girls is passing black girls up. And Hispanic girls too. They passing them up. That's an irrefutable fact. You go in our, you know what I'm saying, in our community, you see constant obesity and self-hatred. That's what you see. Obesity and self-hatred. You know what I mean? So it's different vibrations that we got to consider. 7 at Pisces. Okay, the number 9 and 22 at Virgo. Number 9 and 22 at Virgo. All right. And between these two frequencies, Venus is changing how it's expressing itself and how it's relating to us. So it's going to be on this wise that we're choosing 7th house themes. It's going to be on this wise that we're choosing 2nd house themes. Okay. So now our resources, 2nd house, our value system, our ethos, what we take value in, what we see value in, is going to be through the perception of a number 9 heart soul expression. Okay? How we arrive at seeing value or weighing value is going to be through the number 7 heart soul expression at North Node Pisces. We're going to dissolve the form of things. We're going to take less consideration in the packaging of things and look at the essence of it to see where is the value to the soul's journey? Where's the value to the soul's commitment? Where's the value to what I have found or realized through revelation that my life is to me? Where is that value? Let me connect to that. After knowing who I am, now I'm able to realize what is valuable and what is not, because I know who I am. I know what is valuable or not because I know who I am. If you don't start with knowing who you are, you don't know what is valuable and not for your life, because you're not putting it in the context of how it supports your first house. The second house is after the first house. Let's understand that. It's after the first house. The second house upholds that. It's the values that upholds how you present yourself to the world, how you express yourself to the world, how you show up, the form that you show up in consciously, your ethos. Understand? Even your diet. Okay? If we don't use that number 7 energy walking through the grocery store, right? You attracted to all the fancy packaging, all the colors and stuff and advertisements. You falling for all of that shit. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, look at that. Now you got a grocery cart full of chemicals that's killing you. It's killing you softly. Killing me softly. You know what I'm saying? It's killing you softly. You're going through the grocery store, and as a matter of fact, that's a perfect example right there. All right? Say the grocery store is the world. Okay, so let's say the grocery store is the world, because the world is a market. And as you walk through the grocery store, this time, okay, you have to look at the grocery store through the heart, soul, urge number 9, okay, which is being purposeful, having purpose in your mission, okay, commitment to purpose, not to shiny things, okay. You're coming from the heart with the reason why you're there. So I'm here to get proper nutrition for myself, right? Proper nutrition for myself. That's number 9. Now, if you didn't have the number 9, the Venus would have a different reason for you to be there. What would the Venus say? Okay. The Venus would say, I'm here for my desires. I'm here for what I desire to taste. You see? The number 9 says, I'm here for what I need to absorb. See, it's different. The number 9 is a lifestyle of commitment to your needs. The Venus detriment that the 9 works against is about what you want. And what you need and what you want are two different things. If you indulge too much in what you want, you will spoil the soul. You will incur sickness, illness, disease, death, trouble, karma. See what I'm saying? So you walk in a grocery store and you led by that Venus. Give not thy strength to a woman. You give all your strength to Venus. You getting cookies. You getting cakes, all kind of breads, and you getting processed foods. You know what I'm saying? Freezer this and freezer that, microwavable this and microwavable that, sodas and juices and sugary stuff. You know what I'm saying? You putting all that in the cart. And what's gonna happen? Nigga, you gonna get sick. Fuck you think gonna happen? Yeah, you gonna have cancer, high blood pressure, you know what I'm saying? Your joints gonna start hurting because of inflammation. You know what I mean? Calcification of the arteries. The chemistry of your blood's gonna be all off. So now you're gonna have emotional issues because the sugar is gonna have the turbulence of your emotions wacky. The salt is going to alter your hormonal situation. Pulling off of copper through the lunar salt is going to pull off of the Venus copper, and that's going to raise all of the enes, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphin. You know what I'm saying? All of the enes. You know what I mean? Now your emotions is all over the place. Now your emotions is wacky. You can't control it. Now you're depressed. You know what I'm saying? And what does that lead to? Depression and unstable mind. Now you're not able to make sound decisions for yourself. So what ends up happening? You end up going fucking some bitch who you don't even like and you got her pregnant. You end up go fucking some nigga you don't even like and you got pregnant by him. It's something that simple. It can start at a simple place as going to the grocery store without focus. That's where it can start at. Come on. What made you have a baby with that dude? What made you have a baby with that girl? You wasn't in your right mind. If you backtrack the tape, you were sitting in the house depressed. You wasn't right in your head. You wasn't focused, emotionally stable. You want to feel love. You want to feel this. You want to feel that. You want to feel pleasure, yada, yada, yada. You're just tired of feeling the way that you're feeling in your mind. But really, it's all chemicals. It's all chemicals. And it starts at the fucking grocery store. Yeah. You starting in the grocery store with buying soda and cookies could end with you fucking some bitch that you don't even like. Some nigga you don't even like. Yeah. And now you got a baby. Up the road, now you want child support. Now your whole life is fucked up. And it started with buying a pack of fucking cookies. Goddamn. See, what does that represent? Okay? That chain of events that I just spelled out, that's where the 7 comes in at. Because that number 7 through the North Node Pisces is able to foresee those chain of events. It dissolves the form of what you're doing, and it gets at the essence of what you really need, of what you're really there to get. Okay, it dissolves the form of the shiny things, the representation of things that tends to trick us, that tends to confuse us. It gets at the truth. And when you get at the truth, when you leave Venus, you get back to number 9. The number 9 is where the truth is at. When you dissolve at the number 7, you get back to you finally arrive at the 9 eventually, because 8 is the infrastructure where you rearrange your situation to comply with the truth. And once you have complied with the truth based on number 8 energy or vibration, you arrive at 9. Understand? Okay? This is how it works. And when you're at number 9, you're in your right mind, your sober mind, your higher wisdom. You're in the wisdom of the grandfather, the wisdom of the grandmother, who has lived the life, who understands the life, who doesn't know the life, who not only has wisdom of life, but who actually understands life. The number 9. Okay? The grandmother, grandfather wisdom. So you walk through the grocery store with the number 9, you're looking for nutrition. And you're keeping sight on value of nutrition. Look at the word I use, value. That's you calling Venus to serve you. Not you serve Venus. You serving Venus says, okay, Venus, you want cookies? I'll get you cookies. Right? But instead I say, okay, Venus, no, you're going to serve me. And I'm going to use you to determine value. You see what I'm saying? That's how that works. So you walk through the grocery store, number 9 says, I need nutrition for myself. I need proper nutrients. Okay, so you walk past the cookies, that's not nutrition. That's not nutrients. So why am I even looking? I don't care how decorated the package is. It's not nutrients. It's not nutrition. That is harm, not benefit. Because remember, the 9 comes with all numbers that go before it. The 9 is a culmination of all frequencies that go before it. So therefore, you have access to the number 7 to dissolve the image of a thing and see the true value and actuality of a thing. So you're able to dissolve the image of the cookies and see that the actual value of the cookies is empty calories. Therefore, it has no benefit from me, but it does have harm for me. To thyself do no harm. So according to the number 8 infrastructure that must go after acceptance of the truth, I must have rectitude and compliance, obedience, leading with the Saturn, obedience, leading with Saturn, which hosts the frequency of 8, and Capricorn. I must show compliance and obedience to that which I know to be true through the witnessing of the number 7 vibration, which dissolves all things through Neptune. Understand? So now I'm looking at the truth. And what the number 9 says is, to thyself do no harm. I must lead with the truth and make wise decision, lead with wisdom, decide with wisdom, judge with wisdom. So I don't need cookies. I don't need those fancy boxes of cereal with all these colors on it and sugar and sodas and cakes and all this stuff. No, I'm in the wrong aisle. Where's the vegetables? You know what I mean? Where's my proteins, my fibers? You know what I'm saying? My vegetation? My natural fruits, fruit juice, water, you know what I mean? Then I'm hit the supplement place. I'll make sure I get all, I'm a supplement. I'm gonna get my minerals and, my proper roots and herbs and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Whatever I got to do. It's a different perception. So this demonstration of walking through the marketplace, walking through life, is the same thing when you deal with, for example, relationships. Who's in retrograde? Venus is in retrograde. It's a retrograde in the rule, and it holds the energies of your seventh, second house, relationships and resources. So this is a rebirth of her through that retrograde. In hindsight, we use wisdom. We absorb wisdom through hindsight. Retrograde is hindsight. So through that hindsight, we have wisdom. All right? So now from here with the rebirth of Venus, I'm looking at relationship trajectory in a totally different way from my right mind. Matter of fact, one day, I was a bouncer at strip club. I was a bouncer at strip clubs in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, I was a bouncer for about 4 years or something like that, Jacksonville, Florida. And I was standing outside. So maybe I was in my 20s, somewhere, I don't know, like 20 something. And there was this gangster disciple, who was staying outside with me. We was just conversating and talking. And he kept saying the same, he was drunk or whatever, high a little bit. And he just kept saying the same thing. He was like, there's a difference between my right mind and my wrong mind. He said there's difference between my right mind and my wrong mind. In my wrong mind, I'm subject to create everything that is incorrect for me. In my right mind, I'm subject to create everything that is correct for me. So I have the power to choose to be in my right mind or my wrong mind, because I should always be aware of where my mind is at. You know what I mean? I took that advice with me. I did. And I compared it to what my teacher would say just 6 years before that. Okay, I had a teacher, his name was Muhammad. And this was in Columbia, South Carolina. And, I was actually a custodian of the masjid at that time. Okay. And we slept on the floor, together. We ate from the same plate. We were always together. He taught me 24/7. He was a sheikh, an imam. And he taught me 24/7. He was part of the people who taught me how to read the Quran, how to read Arabic, how to speak Arabic. And he would teach me the same thing. And there was a concept he explained, but he gave it to me as a gift, right? He was cooking for us this night, some ful mudamas. I don't know if you ever heard that. It's Egyptian dish, ful mudamas. And he said, I want to give you a gift, right? I was like, okay, I'm looking around like a gift. He's like, yes, I want to give you a gift. He said, this gift is nasiha. I give you nasiha. I was like, nasiha, okay. And nasiha is admonition, okay, advice. And he said, I give you nasiha. And he said, this nasiha that I give you, it is about the heart, okay? And he said, remember what you taught the African students that night. I was teaching African students how to pray, in Islamic sense. They were from the Bantu tribe. And I had all of them in the masjid, maybe 24 of them who were refugees. I was teaching them how to pray. And I would walk around. I had a stick. I was walking around with a stick, straightening up their legs and making sure they understood the different postures of prayer and salah, things like that. And I would repeat and have them repeat, Aniya fi al-qalbi. And they would repeat, Aniya fi al-qalbi, which is the intention is in the heart. Right? Aniya, intention, fi, in, al-qalbi, in the heart. Aniya fi al-qalbi. Aniya fi al-qalbi, because the intention is first. Before anything, the intention is first. Even as it says in 40 hadiths, and you can look this up, 40 hadiths, every action is but by intention, and we shall surely have that which we intend. And so, when he said, remember, Aniya fi al-qalbi, and I said, yes, Aniya fi al-qalbi. And he said, well, do you know muraqabah? Muraqabah. No, what is muraqabah? He said, I tell you what is muraqabah. And he said, muraqabah, he said, this is to have surveillance of your heart. Surveillance of your heart, okay? And he said, well, you pay attention to your heart. Is it happy? Is it angry? Is it sad? Did it change? What caused it to change? You just pay attention, you govern it. You are present with the changing flows of your heart. and you're aware of it. You're in tune with it. You're in tune with it. Not so to control it, but to be prepared to support it. Understand? To support it. To be prepared to support it. Surveillance of the heart. And he also mentioned shayateen, or demons, which, of course, in an energetic sense, these are negative energies, okay? I just went over Pisces 25 degrees. You can look at that, Pisces 25 degrees. If you look up at the 6-point that I just made in those videos with the red light, okay? Pisces 25 degrees. Ridding ourselves of negative thoughts, okay? So when something comes into the heart as a suggestion, because remember, Shaitan, or Satan, can only suggest to you, okay? Satan can't tell you what to do. And what I mean by Satan is these lower frequencies through Venus that suggest to us to do something that causes us harm or misfortune because of an attraction that we have, a desire or temptation that we have, okay? This can only be suggested to us. We're not forced. So he was teaching me to be aware of what suggestions are entering my heart. And why? Because you're authorizing. You're the one who's authorizing these thoughts, authorizing these feelings, authorizing these suggestions. Hey, look at those cookies over there. You have to authorize it for it to come from the 12th house into the 6th house. Okay? When something comes and meditates on the heart, it has to read through the subconscious as an impulse that's asking you to authorize it to make its way into the 6th house. Because if you're in the market, anytime you're in the market, you're in the 6th house. When you're out and about doing your daily responsibilities and duties, this is 6th house. The 12th house impulse wants to make its way into your daily schedule. But we're the ones who authorize it or not. You know what I mean? You got an impulse that says, oh, don't you like that girl, that was called, called you or gave you her number the other day? Yeah. And so now, here it is, 12:30 at night. You getting a suggestion and you lack authority in yourself. You just let any thought or impulse just tell you what to do. And now here you over here creating misfortune for yourself because you lack authority over these suggestions that come to the heart. So this is the same thing. This is the same thing is what I'm saying. Having surveillance over your heart. Allow that number 7 to dissolve to form so that we lead with understanding and insight, wisdom in what we're selecting, okay, of mates, relationships, what we're incurring into our 2nd house of possessions, because we can incur possessions of things that burden us, because everything that you possess, you must care for. Everything that you possess, you must maintenance. Everything that you possess, you must protect it. You must cover it. Anything that you have. Some things are high maintenance. Some things require too much maintenance than what you can afford. Understand? And this is in relationships and in things. Property, assets. Is the juice worth the squeeze? You know what I mean? So a lot of this is about maturity. I don't want to overemphasize this point because I know that you get it. Questions, comments, concerns, make sure, please, ask questions down below if you need to. Feel free to comment, because when you comment, it helps the algorithm to move. Definitely hit the like button. And, Venus, Cazimi means we're headed in a new direction. And those number 5s, it's time for you to stand up. The number 7s, speak louder. Okay, speak louder, because those number 7s out there, you're helping us to dissolve the false image of things so that we get to the essence of what's really there. All right, especially through the pathways of knowledge and wisdom. And with Mercury being retrograde also, soon to be in Pisces, Venus entering Pisces now, we're getting into the water of things, okay? We're getting into the subconscious activity. We're getting into dissolve, okay? Neutrality. We're getting into where the flow determines the meaning, okay? Just flowing. We're also about to dissolve what forms we gave to things before that we had the understanding that we had prior to the retrograde, okay? Dissolve is coming. And when dissolve comes, it means that a lot of the impressions that we had, a lot of the finalizations that we had, a lot of the conclusions that we had are subject to change. Understand that. Now, as for Aries 23 degrees, this is the energy between 22 to 23 degrees, Aries 23 degrees, Sabian symbol. This is what this energy is progressing to, okay? This is what we are ascending to with this Venus Cazimi. The Sabian symbol is a woman in pastel colors carrying a heavy and valuable but veiled load. Aries 23 degrees, the rich potential of every moment and situation. What does this cause us to do? It causes us to be present. So Venus is starting out as a morning star rather than a night star, okay? She's rebirth as from an old tired energy that no longer attracts any good or anything of significance to the meaning of the life. And she has a renewal of herself. She's a fully charged battery. The battery is fully charged now with Venus for the next 8 years. For the next 8 years. A new direction of Venus, a new expression of Venus. And as this says, the rich potential of every moment and situation. How can we practice in our life being present? There's potential in every moment. And there's potential in every situation. And as I said before, not looking at things as, why did this happen to me? No, why is it happening for me? Why is it happening for me? No matter what happens, it's happening for you. If we learn to harness good intentions, if we learn to generate sincerity, if we learn to clean the heart, to clean the mind, so that our intentions are not in frequencies of jealousy, envy, and competition, wrath, and revenge. No harm can befall us. No harm can come to us. Everything that happened is in service to our destiny. Everything happens to arrive us at the point of what we have imagined, what we have idealized out of sincerity, as what our life should be. It's serving you. Even the things that appear to be misfortunes. What does this go back to? Number 9 vibration. Because through the number 9 heart, soul, urge expression, life path expression, you learn these lessons about life. That nothing was happening to me. It all was happening for me. It was uncomfortable. It was vulnerable. Some of it was painful. Full of disillusionment. Having to let go, having to detach. Especially the letting go and detachment. But I see now in hindsight the benefit of it, the blessing of it, the opportunities that were in it, how it advanced my soul forward, and how it also enriched the purpose in my life, the meaning in my life. But we have to be present to really see and weigh those things. We've been programmed by this social conditioning that we're all subject to be so materialistic and competitive, comparing ourselves and downing others who do not have what we have, and looking down on ourselves when we don't have what others have. Passing around plagues of envy, jealousy, spite, revenge, misery, attachment to things that we want to compensate for a spiritual crisis in ourselves, and it can't. You have to go in there and heal that. The rich potential of every moment and situation. Assertiveness and desire together. Assertiveness and desire together. Imagine that. Being assertive for your desires. You have Venus in Aries. This does express that. Being assertive but not aggressive. Assertiveness and desires together. Take initiative. Open your mouth. Be the first. Don't wait on approval. Don't wait on agreement. You don't have to see how it's all going to make sense. Initiate. And all the forces will follow to support you. Assertiveness and desire together give birth to creative new possibilities. Creative new possibilities. We're supposed to be creating, originating, innovating, not just getting in the line of push the button and go around the merry-go-round of the same old thing. No, this is a new canvas, a reality that we all have the ability to create whatever we want it to be. But we got to be original, authentic, be ourselves. Creative assertiveness towards furtherment of potentials. Creative assertiveness towards furtherment of potentials. Assertiveness. Aries. Mercury, Venus retrograde. Understand. Now, Venus Cazimi took place at 22 degrees Aries. 22 degrees Aries. Now, the fact that this was a Cazimi, I got a snapshot to 22. But the direction of this energy is 22 to 23. All right? So in other words, the expression of the Cazimi is exact 22 Aries, okay? 22 Aries Sabian symbol. The flow of it, okay? The flow of this expression, or how this expression is lived out, what it progresses to, is 22 to 23. So let's look at both of these degrees. So 22 degrees Aries, this Sabian symbol, a gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. A gate to the garden of all fulfilled desires. Ponder that. Ponder that. Optimism as a life path. Optimism as a life path. Abundance arising as a result of trust. Optimism, synergy, sharing, and abundance as life principles. So what does this look like as a Cazimi? What this lets us know is that this is what the effect will have upon the first house in Aries. The first house in Aries themes. So you have to pair this as a context for the expression of the personality, the awareness of the self, and also as the intention and attitude behind how we use our strength. How we use our strength. Strength and use, we look at Aries. That's where we that's where we have the most force in creation. That's where we have the most strength in creation or creativity. It's the tip of the knife. That is what you are most effective at creating. Now also remember to tie this with the identity of the first house. Who are you according to your first house, according to your rising, your ascendant point? Who are you according to that expression? Well, now it's time to be sure that we pair this expression with an attitude of optimism as a life path. And when something is a life path, it means that our heart meets whatever fated experience comes our way. We have to meet it with optimism. A life path is a direction where particular themes of experiences are fated to you. That is a life path. And optimism is the life path from here on out, if we are to follow instructions. And it is a choice. It is a decision. to lean into optimism. And optimism is not to be delusional, but it is to know, to understand that everything, anything, all things are possible if we focus, if we rid ourselves of negative thoughts. If we, instead of saying, I can't, or this happened or that happened, and concentrating on the inevitable, concentrating on the misfortune, let's focus on what can I do? What am I capable of doing? What decisions can I make? Not looking at what you can't do, looking at what you can do. Focusing on what you do have power for. And this comes back to serenity prayer again. Of course, Aries and Scorpio are forever tied together, ruled by Mars. Father God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change. Grant us the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Leading with optimism. To get to the optimism, we have to clear our conscience. We have to clear our hearts. We have to clear our minds. We have to make peace around us, peace within us, because that's how optimism continues to flow. We have to lean into the imagination through Pisces. Jupiter rules Pisces. We have to get contagious and full of zeal about what we know we're here to do. Lean into zeal. Jupiter also rules Sagittarius, the spreading fire of zeal. It's time to be zealous about who we know we are, passionate about who we know we are. Abundance arising as a result of trust. Well, this does go with our faith. Expecting that nothing is done to me, everything is done for me. Nothing is done to me, everything is done for me. So, how does this particular experience serve me? What advantage does this fated opportunity offer me or lend to me? These are things to consider so that we can lean into the optimism and the abundance that's offered as a result of that. And again, the last note, optimism, synergy, sharing and abundance as life principles. And when those become life principles, is what we lead with, is what we refer to. It becomes a criterion of our judgment. It becomes where the source of our decisions and attitude comes from. It's the default attitude that we lead with, optimism. Expecting the best, expecting the good. And if it doesn't manifest in the picture that you had, it's not something to get frustrated at. It's something to be grateful for. Because if anything, if you really trust that you are in this universe, in this world, as part of the all, then surely the all has your best interests at hand. So if you have a picture formed in your mind that I'm going to go in this direction or in this way, on this wise, and it turns out that it has to go another way and you have to change certain things, it doesn't mean to throw the whole thing away. It doesn't mean no. A delay doesn't mean no. It means prepare, condition, get right. If some details have to be changed, it just simply means this is a good plan, but it requires a little innovation. Why do we cry over spilled milk? Understand? So this is freeing us up from being the harsh fighters, getting in unison, standing together with holding hands around our problems collectively that we share so that the burden is lighter. A unified approach is on the horizon. Your first house combines with my first house. We're bringing the colors of all of the spectrums of the rainbow together to form the white light. Understand? When you see a rainbow, you're looking at white light. You're just looking at it bearing all of its frequencies in separation, in duality, rather than singularity. But duality leads back to singularity, if only we would understand. Nothing can be done to us. Everything is done for us when we choose optimism. Now, a few points Of course, there are 7 points according to the Elvin star analysis. And you may want to write these down. First point, obviously, this is upon the second degree of expression, progression. It's about progression, okay? Having progression. That's what this Venus Cazimi is foreseeing, progression for ourselves. And it's obviously through our own attitudes of optimism, choosing it, and being dedicated to that. Aries 22 is optimism, synergy, sharing, and abundance as life principles. The means of this expansion is Virgo 26 degrees. Virgo 26 degrees. That is a means of expansion, which is studying humility as a spiritual practice. Studying humility as a spiritual practice. Humility. Getting yourself out the way. A little less self-importance. Being humble enough to dissolve into the mystery, into the all. Knowing that if you allow yourself to be part of the whole in this universe, everything is in your favor and everything is serving you. And you are serving everything all in one. Understand? But when you become so important, you have volunteered to pick up your own weight of every intricate detail of your own destiny, and that is arrogance, and therefore you are left to yourself in that. And what ends up happening? You fuck everything up. Its preferred path is Aquarius 30, which is to envision the universe as a point of radiant light. Envision the universe as a point of radiant light. A point of radiant light. Understand? Aquarius 30, we know, this is conclusive. This is conclusive. If it's a point of radiant light and this is conclusive, then we know that concluding all things back in singularity, as I said, every frequency of light, it comes back to the unity of light, which is the oneness of white light. As for Virgo 26, which I did just mention, remember that the number 9 numerological value does apply to that state of humility, which we all are going to learn over the next 18 months. Now, let's go forward. Aquarius 30 leads to the principal challenge found in Leo 4 degrees, which is finding a way to make relevant our own small achievements. Finding a way to make relevant our own small achievements. Understand? So we have to show gratitude and appreciation for the small achievements that we do have. Lead with it. Bring it as a contribution that you know you can serve with, that you can show up with, that you can share, that you can offer. Because you don't have to have everything if everybody is coming together to uphold the thing. This is a collective mind state that we have. What is your portion? What is your role? No matter how small or insignificant, it's up to you to see to it that it holds relevance, And that's from your attitude. That's from what you choose to see as value in it. It's your perception that sees or notices that value, that weighs it and cherishes it. Understand? It shines from that. And others see a way to appreciate it because of it. Let me be an example. I show up to an empty audience every day. Every day I show up to an empty audience. I keep my fire. I keep my flame. I keep my faith. I keep my focus. I still show up here. Rather I have 500 subscribers or 4 subscribers, 100 subscribers. And no matter how ungrateful the audience is, no matter how ungrateful the people are who's watching and listening, I still show up. I show up as if there are millions listening. Because what I do know is that I'm heard in heaven. I'm heard by my ancestors. And I'm heard by the few that does count. I'm heard by the very few who do matter. Even if it's one person It counts. So I'm counting the small and insignificant accomplishments, and I'm making sure that it holds relevance. And the relevance comes from my attitude, not somebody else's. It's my job to make sure it is relevant. And I do that every day. And I show up to an empty audience. Understand? So most certainly I'm leading by example. Understand that. Awareness of its spiritual purpose is described in Capricorn 9 degrees, which is being in tune with love, harmony, and beauty. Are we in tune with love, harmony, and beauty? Love is something that we perceive. Harmony is something that we want to see and we want to be a part of producing and creating and upholding. How can I harmonize? Asking ourselves that question. And beauty is in the eye of the beholder, is it not? Just because somebody else has an opinion of this is terrible, it doesn't mean that you have to join that choir and say, oh, this is terrible. You can see the good in it. And that's what upholds optimism, obviously. It all has to do with what you see. And sooner or later, we find that we become someone who's useful, someone who's essential to any project, to any mission, to any coming together because of your optimism, because of such attitude that always finds the value, the good, the purpose, the efficiency, the harmony in all things. You become a troubleshooter. You become a problem solver, and you do so harmoniously. You do so effortlessly. You do so as a master because you make what is complicated artful, eloquent, smooth, easy. Understand? This generates a feedback that's found in Gemini 13 degrees, which is aspiration and inspiration. Aspiration and inspiration. I aspire to, and I am inspired by. This, of course, has close association to Pisces and Neptune. Okay, this does not leave out the seven vibration energy. Aspiration and inspiration. What do you aspire to, and what are you inspired by? See, inspiration, motivation is different. Motivation is something that's burning your ass, that's pushing you forward. That's more like Saturn. Inspiration is something that's drawing you, pulling you to through attraction, such as Neptune. And Neptune does not discriminate. Venus discriminates on what it wants or what it chooses. Neptune does not discriminate because it sees value in all things. It sees good in all things. That's Neptune. Aspiration, inspiration. And aspiration also includes your first house. According to the description of your destined personality, your destined image, what do you aspire to be or achieve or contribute at your Aries expression, which is where you have the greatest effect in life, where you have the greatest impact in life? Aspiration, inspiration. What is inspiring you? What is that vision? What is that vision? What is that dream? What do you see? And are you nurturing it? Are you protecting it? And thus, the evolutionary gateway is offered by Scorpio 17 degrees, which is complete self-determination. Complete self-determination. When you have complete self-determination, you're not worried about what executive orders Donald Trump is signing. You don't care if he just lifted the ban off of segregation. You don't care if he no longer, allows DEI. You don't care about anything that he signs because you have self-determination. You understand that everything is up to you. What you experience and what your fate is going to be is up to what you choose and select as your lifestyle, as your way to manifest your reality into your life, who you connect with, the support that you create and establish around yourself. You are not at the mercy of the president. You're not at the mercy of anyone. You're at the mercy of yourself, where Allah dwells. Understand? We're at the mercy of God. And if as each person breathes the breath of life, God is within that person. God is within the self. And we are at the mercy of God. Therefore, you're at the mercy of the powers and forces of the self that has eternal access in abundance for you to offer, to make any reality that you wish to create. It's all up to us. Let's adopt this attitude. And let's let go of all the nigger shit. Let's let go of the degeneracy, the filth, the crime, the poisons, and condoning and subscribing to such.